Good afternoon. I'm Captain Tina Jones with the Portland Police Bureau. Today we are here to share some important information about preparation and planning efforts across the region for the presidential inauguration tomorrow. We have representatives from state, federal, and local leadership who will be here to present and share updates for media and community members. First, I have the privilege of introducing Superintendent Terry Davey from the Oregon State Police.
Good afternoon. I am Terry Davey, and I'm the Superintendent of the Oregon State Police. As a law enforcement leader in Oregon, it is my responsibility to prepare and plan, to coordinate, and to implement those plans as a way to keep people safe, protect their rights, and to protect their property. Your Oregon State Police are working in coordination with local, state, and federal partners to ensure that we have a peaceful next 3 days. 48 to 72 hours from now, we will be on the other side of our presidential inauguration. And during this time, we are all preparing on what is going to, or what possibly could occur here in our beautiful state of Oregon. I know that the Oregon State Police wants to thank our partners for all the work we've done up to this point to get ready for what could or may not even occur, especially our partners at the Oregon National Guard. They have stepped up and they are assisting the Oregon State Police in ensuring our #1 mission in Oregon is taken care of. And our #1 mission for state police is the continuity of government. Today marks the first day of our legislative session in Oregon. And because of that, and because of the threats that have been made throughout the nation, your Oregon State Police are ensuring that your state government remains intact and continues. And we are doing that with the help of not only our Oregon National Guard partners, but also the Salem Police Department and the Marion County Sheriff's Office here in Marion County, Oregon. Our second responsibility is to the entire state. If any jurisdiction in Oregon needs assistance, then the Oregon State Police is here to respond. And we plan on being available and ready to go at a moment's notice to anywhere that may need us. Police respond to criminal conduct. And what that means is if any rally, protest happens throughout Oregon, especially here in Salem, then your troopers are going to respond. And we ask that you and anybody that may be with you to remain peaceful. You have the right to peacefully assemble. We support that right. And we hope that everybody understands that that is the goal for law enforcement and your communities. So if you plan on coming, just remember harassment, roadway blockage, vandalism, violence is not acceptable and will not be tolerated. Your troopers and other law enforcement will respond and handle the situation in the least amount of force necessary. As far as if you plan on attending a rally anywhere in Oregon, just remember, assemble peacefully, be safe, and have a great time exercising your First Amendment rights. We are here to keep everybody safe. Have a great next 48 to 72 hours.
Thank you, Superintendent. Next, we have General Michael Stencil from the Oregon National Guard.
Thank you, Captain Jones. As stated, I'm Major General Mike Stencil, the Adjutant General for the state of Oregon. This partnership with Oregon State Police is not new to us. Right now, we have National Guard members serving across the state with both mass and small COVID vaccination sites, security and riot support in partnership with OSP, support of the Oregon Military Department, and also in Washington, D.C., providing support for the presidential inauguration. Our citizen soldiers and airmen are from the communities they live in and are here to support the people of Oregon. Know that when we are needed, we are there. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Next, we have Chief Trevor Womack of Salem Police Department.
Thank you, Captain. As your capital city, we've seen protest activities and demonstrations just increase recently, both in size and intensity. As we've seen, it's a phenomenon that's occurring across the nation at all state capitals. I want to assure our community that the Salem Police Department are working closely with our partners here at the Oregon State Police, the Marion County Sheriff's Office, other regional, state, and federal partners. And they've all been assisting us, and we've been assisting them in a variety of ways. And the level of communication that we've seen here in the partnership between law enforcement agencies has been excellent. So we at Salem PD want to thank those partners and specifically call them out and recognize their cooperation and coordination. The protests that we've seen as of late here directed at the Capitol have also impacted our Salem community in a variety of ways, from impacting traffic flows to shutting down downtown businesses and even affecting communities and within neighborhoods, for example, around Bush Park or Pringle Park or the area around the governor's mansion. And so it's impacted our community across the board in a variety of ways. We've been working hard to increase our communications regarding protests with our community. And so we've crafted and clearly stated what our priorities are as far as our approach towards managing protests. And I want to touch on those again today. First and foremost, we need to prevent or intervene acts of violence that may occur. Same goes for preventing or stopping property damage or vandalism. And given what we've seen at the nation's capital and even at our capital here in Oregon before, we want to deny the unlawful occupation of buildings, government buildings or private. Secondly, we need to work hard to keep opposing groups separated as much as possible, because the risk of violence greatly increases when folks with diametrically opposed viewpoints come into contact, as we've seen recently. So that's part of our approach. Thirdly, we also want to address low-level offenses as they occur and when it's appropriate, keeping in mind that it always depends on the totality of the circumstances. For us to intervene in low-level offenses such as traffic offenses or impeding traffic or graffiti, for example, that would take resources away from our higher priorities of protecting life and property. So that can only be done when it's safe and appropriate, but it is a priority for us as well. And finally, the work for us doesn't end when the protest ends. It continues on. And so we want to conduct quality follow-up investigations, communicating well with our partners to make sure that we're holding folks accountable for crimes that may be committed during protests that aren't addressed on the day of the protest itself. So those are our priorities for the protest management that we've expressed to our community and that we will continue to follow through on over the coming days. We find ourselves here at the Salem Police Department, and I think law enforcement in general, continually balancing the sometimes competing interests of protecting public safety and guarding and encouraging and facilitating individual constitutional rights, for example, free speech and assembly and the Second Amendment. I want to assure everyone that the Salem Police Department stands neutral in that area, in that balance, making our decisions during protests based on the neutral interest of public safety alone. And it's regardless of any views expressed by any individual or group, any politics associated with any group, or ideology. We remain neutral and we make decisions based on the best interest of public safety. These resources have been and continue to be very demanding and resource intensive, but we stand ready. We're well equipped, we're well prepared to protect and safeguard our community tomorrow and the days ahead. We're continually coordinating with all of our partners to make sure they're prepared to do that. So I'd like to encourage the community as well to pay attention to our social media platforms, as we'll continue to share as much information as possible as we move forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chief Womack. Next, we have an update from the FBI with Special Agent in Charge, Kieran Ramsey.
Good afternoon. As she said, my name is Kieran Ramsey. I'm the Special Agent in Charge for the FBI here in Oregon. Now, I'm new to Oregon, but I spent time detailed here over the summer, so I'm very well acquainted with the work that's been going on in the state over these past number of months. We have great relationships here in Oregon with all of our law enforcement, community, and government partners, and Oregon is really fortunate to have such a deep bench of people in my office that have lived here and worked here for a very long time. I want to thank all of our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners as we continue to work to identify, investigate, and most importantly, disrupt any potential violence that may occur over these next couple of days. We've had many opportunities to work together, so I believe we're very well prepared for anything that may come our way at this point. Given the events of the past couple of weeks, it's obvious that the FBI is operating at a heightened state of alert. Specifically, we're working to investigate and identify anyone that may be trying to incite others to violence or who may be planning criminal activity. But to be successful in that effort, we need the public's help. We need the communities in Oregon's help. If you have information that someone is planning crimes or threatening violence, either here in the state of Oregon or really anywhere in the US, please contact us. You can call us here at the Portland FBI office at 503-224-4181. You can call us on our national tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI, or you can send us a tip digitally at tips.fbi.gov. Now, of course, we're still concerned about locations that have been previously targeted with violence over these last number of months, but with large events such as these, during an inauguration, there are always the potential concerns for criminal actors to target what we call soft targets, whether those be houses of worship, minority organizations, or other government offices, or something else. But as we sit here right now, we have no credible information at this time of any planned attacks against soft targets. But we're working to make sure everyone is at that heightened state of vigilance. If you consider your organization a potential soft target and you continue to have concerns, please call us, contact law enforcement. As always, if we come across information, though, that represents a credible threat, whether that be to a high-profile government building or soft targets, we're going to immediately share that information with our law enforcement partners and the potential victims so that we can help keep everyone safe. Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have an update from Portland Police Bureau Chief Chuck Lavelle.
Thank you. Our primary goal for tomorrow is life safety. We want to ensure people can come out, exercise their rights to assemble and to speak. We realize that this time of year, inauguration can be an emotional time for many. Some are concerned with what tomorrow will bring. We've endured several events here in Portland that have included violence and destruction. We're hopeful that no crimes will be committed tomorrow, but if that's not the case, we'll do everything in our power to make arrests and hold people accountable. There are some online posts about possible direct action events that we've seen this for months here in Portland. Planners discourage live streaming to allow room for criminal activity such as vandalism and arson. We're monitoring several events, and we'll be monitoring several for tomorrow, including one that's scheduled to start at 2 p.m. at Revolution Hall. We've canceled days off for all sworn members here at the Portland Police Bureau. This will help us assure we have additional resources on hand. And I make an ask to the community for any non-urgent public safety issues. We ask you to please look to our website, portlandpolice.com, for any reporting. Or if you have a matter that can wait till Thursday for reporting, we ask that you do so, and this will ensure we have every resource possible for tomorrow. We're going to be giving updates throughout the day tomorrow via Twitter. At Portland Police is our handle. And I'm hopeful for a peaceful election day, and I want to thank the partners on this call for their assistance.
Thank you, Chief. Next, we have Sheriff Mike Reese from the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Reese, Multnomah County Sheriff. At the Sheriff's Office, we strongly support the rights to freedom of speech and the right to assemble, and we'll do everything we can to encourage safe events as we keep the peace. Our primary focus on Wednesday remains the same as it has been in the past, to protect critical infrastructure throughout Multnomah County, such as the Justice Center, courthouses, and county buildings. We'll continue to have response teams in place to protect the adults in custody who are housed at the Justice Center and the staff who work there, as well as ensuring that operations at all county buildings continue. We work closely with our many partners and will provide assistance if violence occurs anywhere in the county. If there's violence at our state capitol, we'll send resources as requested by OSP or the Salem Police Department. This is a time of transition for our country, and we want it to be peaceful. In the past few months, our democracy has faced the ultimate test. We're doing everything in our power at the local level to ensure a peaceful transition. I want to be really clear. Hate and violence are not welcome in Multnomah County. Let's stay safe.
Thank you, Sheriff Reese. Next, we have Chief Jason Wallace of the Port of Portland.
Thank you, Captain Jones. The Port of Portland Police Department is focused on protecting the aviation security system at the Portland International Airport, and we provide the highest level of customer service. We're aware there's heightened concern in the community related to any local reaction to the coming presidential inauguration. At this time, we know of no specific threats to the Portland International Airport, and we continue to monitor the situation and will prioritize the safety of travelers and employees at PDX. I'm pleased to be a part of this region's efforts to deter acts of violence and keep the peace in our communities. The Port of Portland Police Department will continue to work collaboratively with our partners in law enforcement across the region, and we advocate for and will protect all individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next, we have an update from Regional Director Gabe Russell of the Federal Protective Services.
Thank you, Captain Jones. As stated, I'm Gabe Russell, and I supervise the Federal Protective Service in Oregon, and we're the agency responsible for the protection of federal facilities. I have lived in the Pacific Northwest for over 30 years and have many friends and family that live in Portland, visit here frequently, and really care deeply about the city of Portland. The entire nation experienced a challenging and even traumatic 2020, but perhaps no place more than Portland, where we certainly had our share of additional challenges. Over the summer, federal facilities in Portland experienced over $2 million in damage and a number of challenging events, along with numerous large, very peaceful protests. The inauguration that we're going to have tomorrow is one of our most sacred and important traditions in our system of a representative government. The peaceful transition of power is one of the most beautiful, inspiring things that happens. And what we really hope for tomorrow is a series of peaceful, even vigorous events that celebrate that. That said, we know there's certainly the potential for criminal acts, and we'll be prepared to work through those with our partners. We are incredibly fortunate to have, a collection of law enforcement agencies in the state of Oregon that are really professional and dedicated. And we'll be working closely with the Oregon State Police, Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, Portland Police Bureau, the Port Police, and other state and local agencies to keep our buildings safe and the public safe, and anybody that visits them, including, folks engaged in peaceful protest. Over the last several months, things have been a lot more stable, and we've used that opportunity to clean up and repair our federal buildings downtown as part of the overall effort and partnership with the city in just making the city of Portland once again the safe, inviting, vibrant a city that we all know and love, and that we know it can be again. And so whatever tomorrow brings, we hope it's going to be a positive, inspiring celebration of the inauguration. If we experience acts of criminality, we're going to deal with those. And then we're all going to get up on Thursday and we're going to go back to work, getting the city back to the beautiful place that we know it can be. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have District Attorney Mike Schmidt from Multnomah County.
Thank you, Captain Jones. My name's Mike Schmidt, the Multnomah County District Attorney. I want to reiterate my appreciation for everyone involved in the regional planning for tomorrow's presidential inauguration. There are agencies and individuals not represented on this call who have greatly contributed to our unified mission of protecting property, lives, and to promote free speech. As we prepare for tomorrow, I want to again reassure Multnomah County that our public safety system is ready to confront any violence and property destruction, and to stop anyone who attempts to use the right of free speech to commit harm. I continue to have conversations with people across all sectors of our business community, especially in the downtown core. Property destruction is not acceptable. It is a crime, and it is a crime that we continue to prosecute. My office is working closely with detectives to build cases against those who are identified and arrested for committing property damage and other acts of violence. There's a lot of important work that needs our immediate and combined attention. Our public safety system continues to take a critical look at itself to find solutions to the injustice and racism highlighted during months of nightly protests last summer. And as District Attorney, I pledge to work with our community and other stakeholders to transform Multnomah County and Oregon into a stronger, healthier, safer, and more equitable place for everyone to live. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have U.S. Attorney for the District of Oregon, Billy Williams.
Thank you, Captain Jones. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Billy Williams, and I'm the U.S. Attorney for the District of Oregon. I want to begin by thanking all of the outlets for joining today's call and for your coverage of significant preparations that have gone on to keep Oregon safe. So tomorrow, I am confident we will witness an orderly and peaceful transfer of power as we have throughout our nation's proud history. The Department of Justice, the United States Attorney's Office, and all of our law enforcement partners are committed to doing everything we can to facilitate a safe and peaceful Inauguration Day. Like most Americans, on January 6th, I watched in frankly disgust and anger as insurrectionists stormed our nation's capital. This criminal violence perpetuated against our country and democracy cannot represent who we are as Americans. These unthinkable criminal acts have not gone unanswered. To date, the Justice Department has charged more than 100 rioters, with many more to come. And similar or copycat acts of violence in Oregon or elsewhere will be prosecuted with the same urgency. For anyone planning on engaging in criminal conduct, you are forewarned. Criminal acts will come with a price. Political violence is not going to be tolerated. That said, keeping our communities safe and protecting First Amendment rights is a whole of community effort and one that cannot be fulfilled by law enforcement alone. We need the community's help. As my partners have mentioned, we urge you to submit any information you have about real or potential threats of violence over the coming days. Law enforcement takes all tips submitted very seriously and will take all necessary precautions to keep Oregonians safe. So rest assured that law enforcement partners at all levels of government here in Oregon are working closely on Inauguration Day. We're doing it the Oregon way. We have fantastic partners in this state, and it's something we're all really proud of. So together, with your help, the help of the community, I'm confident that tomorrow's inauguration celebration will, as it has for generations, serve as a shining example of America's resolve and democratic values. Thank you, and be safe.
I want to thank each and every one of our public safety partners who took the time today to provide this important update for the public and media. I want to acknowledge that each of the leaders on this call represent hundreds of men and women across our state who are committed to serving our communities and increasing safety for all. That includes day and night. You're in good hands. Due to time constraints, we were unable to accommodate media question and answer time for this event, and we regret that. But if media partners have questions after this event, they can contact individual agency PIOs for any clarifying information. I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen and hope that you share this important information in your communities. We are all hopeful for a safe Inauguration Day. Please follow your local law enforcement official sources on social media for critical updates as we move through this important time. Take care.